What's up, y'all? It's Marquel, your music pastor, and I'm back with another story today, you know what I mean? And we're going to read about how Peter served Jesus. Now, I haven't read this book before, but I imagine this takes place sometime after Jesus had died, was buried, and resurrected, and went back to heaven. So, this is how Peter served Jesus, all right? Now, every afternoon at 3 o'clock, people in Jerusalem gathered at the temple to pray. Impressive, huh? I didn't even look at the page. Peter and John went to the temple too. A beggar sat near the temple gate. His friends carried him there to beg for money from people who were going to the temple to pray. "Please help me," he cried to the crowds streaming through the temple gate. "My legs are weak. I haven't walked a single step since the day I was born. One small coin, please," he begged. Peter and John looked right at him. "I don't have silver or gold, but I have something else I can give you. By the power of Jesus, get up and walk," commanded Peter. Notice how he commanded him to do that. It wasn't like, "You feel like getting in?" No, get up and walk. That's how you serve Jesus. Peter took the man's right hand and lifted him up. At once, the man's legs grew strong. He leapt for joy and followed Peter and John into the temple courtyard, praising God. "I can walk! I can jump! Whee! Thank you, God! Oh, thank you!" The people in the temple stared. "Why, it's the beggar! Look, he's walking! How can it be?" They were amazed at the miracle and listened while Peter and John told them about Jesus. "Do you think we healed this man?" asked Peter. "No, it was Jesus' power that healed this crippled man." Everyone was amazed, and many praised God, but not the temple leaders. They looked angry as they walked toward Peter and John. So, that's interesting. Why would people be upset that a beggar was healed? Those guys don't sound very nice. Let's keep reading here. The temple priests and leaders didn't love Jesus, and they didn't want Peter and John telling people about him. The temple leaders got madder and madder as Peter told how Jesus' power could raise people from the dead. The leaders grabbed Peter and John and threw them in jail. Jail? Could you imagine going to jail for telling your friends about Jesus? That's crazy. The next day, the high priest questioned Peter. "By whose power did you heal the lame man?" he asked. Peter said, "It was Jesus' power that did this wonderful thing. Jesus is the only one who can save people." The priests realized that Peter and John weren't afraid. They heard Peter's amazing words and saw that many people believed and praised God. The priests couldn't find a reason to punish Peter and John, so they let the two disciples go. "Stop telling others about Jesus," the priest commanded. But Peter continued to tell people everywhere about Jesus. So, Peter commanded the man to walk, and he did it. The people commanded Jesus, or Peter, not to tell people about Jesus, but he kept doing it. You always have to do the thing that Jesus wants you to do. That's how you serve Jesus. Hit myself in the mouth there. Let's keep going. Peter traveled to Joppa, where a woman named Tabitha lived. Tabitha loved Jesus. She made beautiful shirts and coats for people who didn't have enough money for clothes. When Tabitha got sick and died, her friends begged Peter to help. Peter sent everyone out of Tabitha's room. He knelt by her bed and prayed. Then he said, "Tabitha, stand up." Tabitha opened her eyes and saw Peter. Then she sat up. She was alive. Peter offered Tabitha his hand and helped her get up. Then he called her friends into the room. They were amazed at the miracle. Soon people everywhere in Joppa had heard about Tabitha, and they believed in Jesus. And Peter kept serving Jesus everywhere he went. Awesome, huh? Sometime later, wicked King Herod arrested Peter for teaching about Jesus. The jailers wrapped heavy chains around Peter's hands, and 16 guards kept watch over him. There's a whole heck of a lot of guards, man. As Peter lay in jail, Jesus' followers prayed for him. As Peter slept chained between two guards, a bright light filled the jail cell. An angel touched Peter's side and told him to get dressed. All at once, the chains fell from Peter's hands, and the angel led Peter right past the guards. Yeah, I must be dreaming, thought Peter. We've made it this far, but how can we get open the iron gate? At once, the iron gate that led to the street opened by itself. They went through the gate, and the angel and Peter walked down a street. Suddenly, the angel left him, and Peter realized the amazing thing that had happened. The Lord sent the angel to help me, thought Peter as he hurried to his home of his friend Mary. He saved me from the wicked king and the people who want me to stop serving Jesus. If you serve Jesus, he'll be there with you. When Peter knocked on Mary's door, a servant girl named Rhoda appeared. She was so happy to hear Peter's voice that she forgot to open the door. Instead, she ran to tell the others that Peter was there. "You're silly," they said. "It must be an angel. It must be Peter's angel." Peter kept knocking. When his friends opened the door and saw Peter, they were amazed. Peter hushed them and explained how Jesus had sent an angel to free him. Then Peter asked them to tell other followers about everything that had happened. Peter left and went to another place to tell more people about Jesus. In all his life, Peter never stopped serving Jesus or teaching others about his love. The end.